Good afternoon. My name is Mark Todd, Shelly Operations, here for your July 21st afternoon update. I'm going to start off up here in the western portion of the fire in Division Alpha. This is our geographical area that we have firefighters concentrating their efforts. We still have firefighters in and around these areas on the fire's edge, constructing and reinforcing containment lines. They're also backhauling and trash and hose in these areas. As we move around to the top of the west end of the fire and proper of Division Bravo and Charlie, as you can see, the fire's edge is painting black. And for those of you in the public, that's a great thing. That means we have containment lines and there is no heat that is going to threaten those lines. You can also see up here in the upper portion is dozer lines, and those were our secondary lines for containment if this fire did not stay in its original footprint. And we are currently starting to do fire suppression repair. So we're repairing the areas that we utilize the bulldozers in, as well as the road systems. And we're starting to get it back to the original look and the original footprint prior to firefighters arriving to the fire. As we move around here to the north end of the fire, we have Division Delta and Echo. Again, these are the communities of Etna, Scotts Valley, Quartz Valley. And again, you could see on the map that we have black line all around here. This is contained and cold. There is no threat, and we still have firefighters in the area starting to do fire suppression repair, and we are still performing tactical patrols just in case, and we will continue to do that for the next week and a half. As we move around here to the north end, or excuse me, the west end of the fire, we have Division Foxtrot and Gulf. And in this area here, as you can see, as the fire shapes, we call that the horseshoe. This is very steep and rugged terrain. Firefighters are having to hike in for several miles, and they are starting to construct and reinforce those containment lines. No fire suppression repair has been done in this area yet because we're still getting containment in these areas. But the fire is staying in its original footprint, and it has been tested with some of the winds and hotter, drier weather that we've been experiencing over the weekend. As we move down here around the horn and towards the south end of the fire in Division Gulf, Mike, and Tango, this is very rugged and steep terrain. We have firefighters that have been flown in by helicopter, and they're going to stay out on the fire line for several days up till Tuesday, and they're going to continue to insert themselves where it's safe as possible and continue to construct containment lines in and around these areas that are very difficult to get to. As I mentioned before, the fire suppression repair is a very important aspect of what we do. We not only put the fire out, but we try to leave the forest in and around the areas of the forest the way we found it prior to the fire. One thing that I wanted to mention, again, the firefighters that are staying out in these areas for several days, we call that a spike camp. And they're being supported by logistics, and the logistics are being flown in on a daily basis and dropping off food and supplies for them so they could stay out there in those areas. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is the UAS. That's an unmanned aerial system, and what we all know as a drone. Those drones have infrared cameras mounted on the bottom of them, and they fly the fire in different parts of the fire and try to look for heat. And when we do find heat signatures that are near those containment lines, that will help us direct the firefighters to those areas to make sure we could cool those areas off and make sure we can mitigate any hazards toward those control lines. You will still see some smokes in the interior, but that is no threat to our containment lines, and we are very confident that this fire will remain in its original footprint as we move forward. Thank you.